I am Tom Shillue in for Greg on this very special edition of Gutfeld. Since it's the first show of the new year, let's see how some of our friends are celebrating 2026. Joe Biden is replacing his embalming fluid with champagne. Greg is writing 2026 new Joy Behar jokes. Yeah. Kamala Harris is still nursing a killer hangover. Rashida Tlaib is shaving 2026 into her beard. And finally, Zoron Mandani is working hard at pretending to like Jews. Right. So, New York City is ringing in the new year with a new mayor, Zohran Mandani, the man who proved anyone can make it in this town, as long as they're a Democrat who doesn't kill the elderly.
Yes.
Zohran was sworn in at City Hall on New Year's Day as New Yorkers got started on their New Year's resolution, throwing themselves in front of more subway trains.
Holy crap.
He was the first mayor to be sworn in on the Koran. Meanwhile, a few blocks over, the Freedom Tower was saying, "Hey guys, remember me?" Then he gave his inauguration speech, or what I like to call the Big Apple's last will and testament. Let's see what Zohran has planned. Does he stand alongside us?
I stand alongside you, the tens of thousands of you gathered here in Lower Manhattan, warmed against the January chill by the resurgent flame of hope.
Okay, January cold, hope warm, got it. But that warmth is coming from BLM lighting police cars on fire.
We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
What is this, the Karl Marx Weather Channel? So collectivism is warm too. Siberia would beg to differ.
The only expectation I seek to reset is that of small expectations.
Hey, don't knock small expectations, they're good. We tell our studio audience Greg is 2 feet tall, so they're pleasantly surprised when they see he's 3'5". But okay, what are these big expectations of yours?
Beginning today, we will govern expansively and audaciously. We may not always succeed, but never will we be accused of lacking the courage to try.
It's a will like that got Mamdani all those job offers from his mom.
We expect greatness from the cooks wielding 1,000 spices, from those who stride out onto our Broadway stages, and from our starting point guard at Madison Square Garden. Let us demand the same from those who work in government.
Did you just compare the Knicks to government employees? I think you're thinking of the Pacers.
I stand alongside countless more New Yorkers watching from cramped kitchens in Flushing and barbershops in East New York, from cell phones propped against the dashboards of parked taxicabs at LaGuardia. I stand alongside construction workers in steel-toed boots and halal cart vendors whose knees ache from working all day.
Pretty sure he confused halal cart vendors with prostitutes. But wow, he's trying really hard to be inclusive.
I stand alongside over 1 million New Yorkers who voted for this day nearly 2 months ago. And I stand just as resolutely alongside those who did not.
Sure, like cops, Jews, and those people in white neighborhoods whose taxes you pledged to raise.
Those in rent-stabilized homes will no longer dread the latest rent hike, because we will freeze the rent. These policies are not simply about the costs we make free, but the lives we fill with freedom. For too long in our city, freedom has belonged only to those who can afford to buy it. Our city hall will change that.
I'm sure he will, by making freedom so expensive no one can afford it.
I was elected as a democratic socialist, and I will govern as a democratic socialist. I will not abandon my principles for fear of being deemed radical.
Great. Plenty of countries have tried socialism, and it worked out for them. Venezuela had Latin America's highest standard of living. Now they're making empanadas out of zoo animals.
There are many who will be watching. They want to know if the left can govern. They want to know if the struggles that afflict them can be solved. They want to know if it is right to hope again.
And there won't be a shortage of hope now. Hoping the lights will come back on. Hoping a 10-time felon won't stab you on your way to work. Hoping the rats won't unionize.
So standing together with the wind of purpose at our backs, we will do something that New Yorkers do better than anyone else. We will set an example for the world. The work continues. The work endures. The work, my friends, has only just begun. Thank you.
Hold on. Was that a Nazi salute? Look at it. That's what Elon did. Doesn't that make him a fascist? I'm not going to do it. I'll get in trouble. Good luck, New York. Your new mayor is an inexperienced socialist radical who wants to tear down capitalism and make life as free as a ticket to one of Sherrod's shows.
Whoa! Whoa. That's only on Groupon.
His whole brand isn't about fixing a broken system. It's about gaming it to win power, then lecturing everyone else for playing by the rules. Maybe one day he will make life safer and more affordable for New Yorkers, but probably just those who take their U-Haul to Palm Beach. Let's welcome tonight's guests. This vegan's kind to animals but cruel to humans, co-host of The Bottom Line on Fox Business, Dagan McDowell. He hosts a video podcast that people actually watch, host of Your Welcome podcast, Michael Malice. His shows are like New Year's Eve in Times Square. People pee their pants. Comedian Sherrod Small. And she's like confetti. Great for celebrating, but hard to get rid of. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor, Good Tip. Oh my gosh, so much to deal with here in New York City today. Dagan, I feel like I got to go to you. Do you agree with me? Mamdani is, look, they're treating it like it's all new, but we've been here before with, like, you know, de Blasio. Am I right?
Oh, it can get so much worse.
It can?
Worse than, what was his name? Warren Wilhelm. That's his real name, not Kaiser, not to be confused with Kaiser Wilhelm. So a socialist city elects a socialist mayor to fix the problems caused by socialism. That makes sense because New York City is already socialist. The biggest employer is the city. It runs and owns hospitals and healthcare clinics. 2/3 of the budget goes to education, social services, and government retirees, and something called fringe benefits, which is actually in the budget. I am actually hoping this fails. One, because it means it won't spread across the rest of the country. But two, I'm craving that dangerous, unruly, broke-ass, hella cool return to an old New York, where we were all skinny because we couldn't afford food, just drink, and we had to run everywhere, especially when the sun went down, in order to avoid getting jumped by muggers.
Yeah.
Where the meatpacking district actually smelled like meat during the day, and then it smelled like sex at night because of the dungeons and the clubs. Not that I went, but it was just the idea that I could go.
Yeah.
Right? And so I long for the Ratso Rizzo, like Travis Bickle New York, instead of the Short Hills Mall New York, which is what this city looks like right now.
It's going downhill, but she's thinking positive. I like it.
Speaking of positive, you didn't mention like all that AIDS and rape that was happening. And that's something I'm just teasing, but I'm very concerned about that because one of the people on his cabinet was talking about decarceration. And decarceration is their latest euphemism for getting people out of jail who they think shouldn't be in jail.
Yeah.
And when violent crime is on the rise, the first crime that is least likely to be reported is being the victim of sexual assault, because you already had the violation, the trauma. What's the point of going through it, especially if the criminal justice system now is based on keeping the person out of jail instead of keeping the person in jail, which we have seen under de Blasio and to some extent Mayor Adams. So good luck, city. I mean, I'm trying to pass.
This is what I'm wondering. I wanted to ask about your new look, Michael. What is happening here?
I don't want to be hiding somatic. So, I'm just, like Free Palpatine. The Emperor did nothing wrong.
You look like you sell Molly in East Village.
First hit's free.
Well, what do you think, Sherrod? You were kind of poking fun of me and my monologue in the green room as I was kind of going over it.
Yes.
You don't have as dark of a vision of the future of New York as I have.
Well, only thing I was criticizing with the monologue, I was like, take some of those N-words out, Tom.
That was it, but I did. I took your advice, and it was better because of it.
I'm pulling for Mamdani. The only reason I'm pulling for him because I'm a New Yorker, and I want this to work out. We live here. If he can freeze the rents and not make the rent so expensive so people don't have to move out or move down to Atlanta or Georgia or somewhere, then I'm for that. If I don't have to, get my rent tripled every year, I'm for it.
You're for it. So you're for this freezing the rent. But people say it's not going to work out. You freeze the rent, and then it's.
Let's see if it works out. Well, we don't know yet. We're going to predict the future.
Yeah.
I've been here for Koch. I've been here for Dinkins. I've been here for Giuliani. I've been here for de Blasio, all of them.
Okay.
None of that worked out.
Wait a minute.
Try something
Hold
new.
on. It did work out. Giuliani, he was great.
Bloomberg.
It worked out.
Well, when you say he was great, you mean when it comes to hair care products?
No, it's leaking.
He's dripping.
bad.
He's dripping, but he wasn't dripping back in the 90s.
He was okay, but Stop and Frisk was great. It wasn't great for me.
It was great for you.
Why?
Because so many fewer black people were dead under Giuliani.
No, but it was harder to get
crime
weed.
went down for who? The blacks. It went down in black neighborhoods, and so
But
you
it's
had
going now on the
3,000 dead
push.
black young guys, and then you had 900. That's a good thing.
Well, but if everybody's incarcerated, that's not a good thing. If you're getting locked up for years and years over weed charges that's now legal, that's not a good thing. When you got Rockefeller drug laws that's locking people up for years and years over a small amount of drugs, that's not a good thing.
You
And
don't
then they're
like
not
those
rehabilitating
Rockefeller
them.
Kat is nodding her head in agreement on the Rockefeller drug
I'm
laws.
I'm against rent freeze and stop and frisk. So I just want to give everyone their time to tweet something mean at me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. Let's go.
All right, everybody done? Okay.
But so yeah, the rent freeze thing, it's not going to work. But the thing is, the people who voted, the young people and the charades, you were young once.
I was.
The young people who voted for Mamdani, they don't know we've tried this kind of stuff in the past. They didn't live through Dinkins and then Giuliani, and they didn't see, de Blasio, so they don't know. They think this is all fresh and new. It's just leftist politics, Kat.
Well, yeah, I don't agree with Mamdani's solutions to these problems at all. I'm a small government person, but he really did tap into a frustration that people in my generation have about how many of us did all the things we were supposed to do. We went to school, we've been working, and it's so expensive. People can't afford to buy homes. People can't afford anything. So people are very frustrated. I'm with Dagan. My best hope at this time is maybe for everyone in the crime to get so bad that everybody flees and things are actually going to be affordable. I mean, again, I do not agree with his solutions, but there is this frustration. I mean, yes, wages have increased, but they haven't. The home prices have far outpaced inflation and wage growth. And a lot of people in my generation are really pissed off. And I don't think he has the answers. I think these are the wrong answers. And I think they do not work. But I think that a lot of politicians need to start maybe listening to people in our generation, because a lot of us are very frustrated.
It's not just the young folks. It's the old bitches like me.
Oh.
I'm mad too. This place is too expensive.
Yeah.
Way too expensive.
Everybody's angry. I love it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.